Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, where we are knocking on the door of victory, I'm sure! As we've just, well, pointed out that another murder weapon could happen. Simulating an accident that happened 5 years back, an accident that was alluded to as to not so much be an accident itself. So, as the judge asks us, Mr. Wright, continue! We get going. It's 2:30 PM on the day of the murder. Miss D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it! She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago! Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say, for the sake of argument, that the Hammer died at the trailer as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She had another way. I bet she could move it, but she had another way. Because if everything... Right, I'm going to lay out my thoughts here for you. There are no bloods at the scene of the crime. Not a single blood was to be found. In fact, there was barely a blood on the victim. A blood. If the crime happened in Studio 2, the Steel Samurai costume gets taken off the body because it's too heavy. It's heavier to carry. It gets thrown, along with the T-bone steaks, which kind of, help a little bit with alibi-ish, into the incinerator. We know it's been recently used. It was covered in soot. It is handy, convenient, and there. More to the point, the guy could have bled out inside it. There's where all the blood goes. I'm not quite sure it had to be done in that 15-minute period, but it could have been done in that 15-minute period because you could have stored the body somewhere. Namely, a vehicle that's parked right there, which you don't have to carry anyone. You drive there and back. It's not that hard, especially considering it seems like there was nothing in the way in the end. I don't understand what's going on with that, but still. Or the body could be in there for time until the end of the meeting, then moved, then discovered. Possibly, depending on not if the head actually blocked it enough that the van couldn't go anywhere, but the van supposedly did at that time. Do you know what I mean? That's where I think I'm going with that. So I'm going to go with she had another way. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance, actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. Aha! We're going along the same line of thought. And there was a way for you to carry that body and store it out of sight until you needed to place it where it was. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Basically, use the evidence you've just been provided with in the last, well, I'd say hour. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. Let's continue along with my theorem. Take that. Take that. Miss Vasquez. You carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it. Hit the nail on the head, did I? Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Objection! Hold on, Wright. don't forget, it was Salmonella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator? Well, more the merrier. I suppose Ivy could jump, but that's just by her testimony. I mean, we don't definitely know that Mr. Manella did it, but, you know, we'll go with, of course he was. Because, to be honest, he's a downtrodden, walked all over kind of guy from what the other employees have said. Of course Salmonella has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. Is that really it? I win? So, what happens next? Don't question mark me. Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean D. Vasquez? So it was you? You killed Jack Hammer? Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle? You proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right! But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What?
Order! Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts?
Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but, there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, come on, Edgeworth, prosecute. I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? Testify again, Vasquez, or no further questions, Vasquez? I don't know. Ah! Prove the blackmail point. Prove the blackmail? More to the point, right. We've seen the picture D is there in the past. We know, kind of from testimonies or facts that people have been telling us, that she's basically blackmailed Hammer, put him in the petty job, put him in the, the role of the underling in the shows, paid him not that much for 5 years. And that she said that the only way she'd have got away with that is if Jack Hammer had gone, had meant to commit that murder. So, looking at that, we got to prove that link, that he had motive to be there. That makes loads of sense. He faked being Will Powers to get to D, to finish the lady who's been blackmailing him, keeping him down for 5 years. But how do I go about that from here? I'll just go, you did it. I'll go for the push. Miss Vasquez, you did it. Let me present some stuff. That wasn't a question. Did you do it? No, I'm gonna get strike. No.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not sure that question helped this court get any closer to a verdict.
What do I do now? I want to, you know, testify again. I'd like you to testify again.
Testify again?
Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before, the truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? Yeah, I know, we're completely screwed, so we really gotta let her off. You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn! Damn! To come so far only to fail.
And it seems there are no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez.
Objection!
Edgeworth?
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't.
I see. Very well.
Objection!
Your Honor, I'm trying again.
I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness.
I just want to hear your testimony again.
Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes.
Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about?
Well, yes, you're trying to find the guilty party as well, aren't you, Edgy?
Indeed, verily I say. Ergo, I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter.
Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He probably realised she did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that. Edgeworth.
Right then, we're still in the game.
I was with Sal and Old Bag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, and Powers showed up. The security lady, Old Bag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying, "He did it!" I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. You know why my voice went there, don't you? Didn't we have a whole debacle where we had to find a script and it was not in Studio 2? She didn't know where it was. I had to find it, and it was at the scene of the crime. Or at least where the body was found. Not the scene of the crime.
I see no issues raised by this testimony.
I do.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Okay, Nick, we're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. After finding the body, the testimony comes along. Right, I was with Sal and Old Bag, the security lady, when we found the body. Now, I think we can just get stuff that we've heard before from this. But it's so this statement coming over here. That's the one I want to press. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. You just left them lying around. No, I guess not. If I could press harder, I'm doing that. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder, after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh yeah, I guess.
Very well, Miss Vasquez, please continue.
Objection!
Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Edgeworth. Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio 1. That's very true, Edgeworth. That is very true. Have we teamed up? Are we on the same side? The side of justice?
Order! Order! Mr. Edgeworth! what you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense?
I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here.
Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation?
I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense? What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal.
Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason.
I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. That statement is idiotic.
Hold it!
How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director? You have to find something to peg this on her here, or everything we've done until now will have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. No, I know what I'm after. I know perfectly what I'm after. Do I have to do the other thing again, though? Yeah, that's fine. It's just stupid. You knew that Hammer was injured. Hammer was never injured. Powers was injured. What you saw was this. For definite. Objection.
Objection!
You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Still Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? You're implicating yourself perfectly.
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. He must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez, you heard Mr. Manella wrong? You saw Hammer limping because you saw him in the costume. Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes.
Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured?
Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers.
Ah!
When was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Still Samurai costume and went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Still Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Still Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning.
Order! Order! I will have order again!
Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Because they don't want to go down? Probably why. Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. I think we've covered this one.
Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter?
Well, I think the defense does have something to say on the matter. But yet again, the defense rests its case for this episode, but not completely, because we have her. We finally have her. Join me next episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, where with Edgeworth's assistance, we will get the guilty verdict on the guilty party and declare our defendant not guilty. I'll see you around for more. Bye-bye.